A couple days before Christmas, she had said she had got her card and she was having a hard time. Please, 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 can you help me? And I had some sympathy for her situation a couple days before Christmas, and it cost me a lot, that sympathy.
Didn't she fake PTSD to get to you?
Yes. Yes, she did.
How do you fake PTSD? How did she do it?
I don't know. I've got PTSD, and I think that's kind of hard.
I'm not a doctor, and we talked over the phone about some of her issues, and I'm not a doctor. I told her she needed to see one. And I'm guilty for believing her when she said she had a doctor's signature and that she had gotten approved and was waiting on her card.
How do you train somebody to fake PTSD? Is there like a training program you go to for cancer? Here, let me see your cancer face. Show me your AIDS face.
PTSD comes in many disguises, and I'm not qualified to.
She just said she had it. Like she wasn't like acting like
no,
weird and like no.
No, she just said she was suicidal over the holidays. It was a bad time.
Oh, it's like a big joke for her. Oh, it's like big game, big entrapment game. Using
it was a job for her.
That's nice.
She
making a mockery of dead veterans. That's great.
Good job. She was told that I would fall for a sob story, and she was right.
It actually says that in the letter. I'm like, well, we'll give her a sob story. She'll fall for it.
Well, we'll talk about this more on the podcast. This is shocking. I'm disgusted. I'm here 5 minutes. I'm fucking disgusted. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna get mine. Go through the ground. If you can't do the time, don't tell me how you're off and down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown, it's your fool, bitch. So just step back. I'm a mad dad when I come down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty. Let's roll! I'm back on the scene. It's time to get mean. I'm a lean. Revolution machine. Won't want people stay. They sway. 1, 2 days, good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the time. Don't cross the line, but you know it's right. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty. Let's roll.
All right. So, Peter, you got a card?
Yes, I did.
Oh boy. All right, what's your story? Now wait, hold. We got two crazy stories here. You have a but you're on drug court?
Well, I got a key because I refused to stop smoking because, I mean, it's my medicine, you know? And the typical thing with probation is, oh, there's a zero tolerance for drugs or alcohol. And they've given me a lot of a hard time for that, you know? And it basically boiled down to I showed up in court and I had to speak on my own behalf, like, to the judge. He directly asked me, you know, well, what do you want to do about this? I'm like, honestly, I'm at a loss for what to do about this. I don't want to end up going down similar paths to other people I know with the whole pharmaceutical route. You know, this works for me. He basically told me, get a medical marijuana card in Delaware or get out of Delaware. Yeah, seriously. He was like, if you move to the state, the probation, I'll drop your probation, and that's that. Like, hopefully you move somewhere where cannabis is legal and you can use it legally, you know? And now it seems to be for nothing because I've got this card. I'm still smoking. I'm still on probation. And
what a waste of time.
Yeah, you know, there's so many hoops to jump through to get the card, and not to mention how much it costs. You know, I mean, most doctors aren't exactly cannabis friendly, let's be honest. So you got to find the right doctor, and a whole bunch of money just finding a doctor, and like, and then the application costs money. I think it's $125. Don't call me on that. I'm not sure right off the top. But
it's $400. It was $400 for me to get mine last year in Jersey.
Ow.
A total of 3 visits to the doctor. I had to show a verified relationship with my
that's how it is here in Delaware too.
And then pay $200 for my card. I went for the most recent changes to ours, and now go every 90 days to recertify. And that's more money every 90 days to
in Delaware is and I don't think it's as much as the initial application, but it still costs.
No, it's the same. 125, I believe, for the application.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I remember reading it. I just don't remember what all it said.
Jeez.
Not too bad. And actually, the application fee in Delaware is actually not that bad compared to what it is in New Jersey. So, I mean, Delaware has that for them. And they also will waive it for low income. So, because I'm low income now, and I can prove that, I have that going for me. I don't actually have to pay for a card. It's just not, I don't know if I'll actually get the card again since it's been revoked. It's been a problem.
So it's hard to get it back once it's revoked.
One of the rules in giving out a card in the law is you can't have if you've had a medical marijuana card revoked, then they can deny your application for that. So it's a reason. It's not necessarily going to happen if you've had it revoked, but it says that it is a reason to revoke a card or to not accept an application. In my case, it was they denied my application for the medical marijuana card after my arrest. So
no matter how sick you are.
No, it doesn't matter how sick you are. No.
Because you can't smoke in public.
Nope.
So if one of you guys had a seizure right now and we're on the ground, I just would have to look at you and say, sorry for your luck.
If you want to be all legal about it.
Yeah.
Thank God that we have people who aren't legal about it. I witnessed, thank God. Recently at an event, I witnessed someone having a seizure and they administered CBD oil and it stopped her seizure. So
yeah, that was down at Weedstock, right?
And
really,
but and that was really interesting that they, you had people there that were familiar with the product and they, long shot, they tried it and it worked. And I believe the girl has gotten her certification through Canacare. I believe they were working on it to get them in
Wow,
and
right
get
on.
seen, to get her card and get it taken care of, because it worked to stop the seizure. So that was great.
Now, to my understanding, Maggie Berg-Fawler, who works for Canacare, was actually there and saw the thing. Yes, or is that not true?
No, Maggie was there. She was there at the event too. So she's working on getting cards. So it was a great thing to see. It was a great thing to witness that, you know, that it helped people. It was visible, and we'll see what comes of it. It's even our pediatric law here in Delaware came about because somebody broke the law.
Yo,
And that was, I my hats off to Janie Maidler, who's the mother of Riley Maidler, and that is who the bill was named after, is Riley's Law. And you had a very sick child who was running out of options, and a mother did everything she could to save her daughter, and she was willing to do anything to save her. And she took a chance on cannabis for her daughter, and it panned out. And her daughter, it worked for her daughter, and her daughter survived. And she came, and both her and her daughter came down here to Legislative Hall, and they changed laws. They were right there going, this is going to stop. We need a pediatric law. This has to happen. And they did it.
yep.
Nice.
Illegally healed.
I've heard that. That's why we're here in Delaware. We want to know what your problems are here in Delaware. I hear you have lots of problems here. You can't smoke in public. You lost your card. You're on drug court. Patients can't get their medicine. What the cost? How's the cost?
It's really expensive.
How
I think
many
the last
dispensaries?
time I went out, and
We actually
Wait,
have
like-
3.
Hold on. Wait, what?
I think the last time I went to the dispensary, it was like $35 or $40 for just an eighth, and that's most of what they have are eighths. That like
That's cheaper than Jersey.
Yeah.
It's like 50 an eighth in Jersey
ouch.
of shit, and mostly shit.
I mean,
Mids, basically. Glorified
it's
mids.
one thing if it's
Terpy mids.
it's one thing if it's pretty decent stuff, but I mean, if it's not worth the time,
brutal.
it's not worth the money.
It helps some patients because they don't know any better and they're paying for mids when they could be paying for dank.
Yeah.
I personally like the dispensaries that are here. I've only been inside one, which was the one that had me taken down.
Isn't there only one?
No, there's
No,
actually a
there's
couple
another.
right now.
Okay.
There's 2 operational. There's Columbia Care that's in Smyrna. There is the First State Compassion Center in Wilmington and in Lewis. They have 2 centers that they were awarded. And then Compassionate, it's a group from New Jersey, and I cannot remember the name right off the top of my head of the people who owned it. I think it was Compassionate Science. What's the dispensary that?
In Jersey?
Yeah, what is
Compassionate
Curaleaf?
Care, Compassionate Science, Curaleaf,
Well, Compassionate Science turned into
Curaleaf,
Curaleaf.
and
It's not
no.
that one.
it's Greenleaf.
I can't remember. There is a new group that's coming into Newark, and their dispensary should be opening anytime. I've heard, we heard August. That was the last update, and they're not open as of yet, but
Right.
supposedly they're coming soon. So that's 4 dispensaries in the state. The prices should start to drop, but right now they're about $50 an eighth. Although that's
Wow.
not that bad across the country with medical. You have Colorado and Oregon doing much better for price wise, but their programs have been up a lot longer.
Yeah, well, Oregon's got $1 gram out there, so
Oregon absolutely made the mistake of letting too many growers come in, and you were allowed to personally grow in order as it's is not one that has allowable home grow in their medical program.
Why not?
Politics. Although although I'm a fan of Free the Leaf, I would support not having grow if they put it in for medical patients. I would like to see medical patients be able to grow their weed, but for a recreational problem, I would absolutely bend on a home grow.
There's actually a lot of arguments against home grow, though. The biggest one that I've heard in Delaware, anyways, is the fire hazard from like indoor grows, things like that. And that's understandable. You know, there've been people talk about, oh, well, what if we did license for growers, even if you're medical, like, you know, and sanction it for medical only, where, you know, recreational users still aren't allowed to grow. And that's been what I've heard mostly from various people as far as ideas on that. But there, like she said, there isn't anything implemented.
We have the recreational bill that will not go through with home grow. It just won't. So, I mean, they've tried. They can't get sponsors for it. They couldn't get sponsors, and they couldn't get it to go through for
House Bill 110.
You know, putting in grow for medical. Although it is absolutely needed for medical patients to be able to grow. The supply here, even with 3 dispensaries running, is very, very shaky. It's just there's not supply.
Is there limits on what you can buy sometimes?
There are in the newer dispensaries. There's limits on what sizes. I mean, how it's sold. It's still only sold in eighths. You don't get ounces that you can get, even though it's cheaper for an ounce. You can't get it that way. They won't sell it that way. They'll sell you an ounce, but they'll charge you the eighth price for that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I want an ounce, but you have to buy it all in eighths, and it ends up costing you like $500. Like,
well, in Oregon, you can have 24 ounces a day, I think, and they're trying to change that. Yeah,
that's
that was a little bit of a mistake there, because it was unfortunate to put the growers out of business in Oregon, and that was very sad for, you know, people who were really trying to grow quality product. You needed to have money for that. It takes money to grow quality product, so, and then they couldn't get the return.
Yeah,
because so many growers were there. And then you had, I mean, anyone, I think it was up to 10 plants you could grow legally on your own anyway. It was a little not strict there.
Yeah, we should grow it with our tomatoes, but
I
would hope someday.
I mean, one day I would love to see that happen. I don't think it's going to happen in Delaware anytime soon. And I'm a realist. I'm looking for something real. I would like to see legalization in the state. I'd love to be able to walk into a store and purchase it. I mean, I'd love to be able to walk into a dispensary, but God knows if that'll happen anytime soon. I might have better luck trying to get into a recreational store if we can get the rec going.
Yeah, at this point, that's really true. I haven't ever thought about that before.
It says here, you're being extorted just like us in Jersey.
Yo, it really is extortion. I mean, it costs so much money. It is really the most unbelievable thing about even just getting into the medical program, you know? And then you start looking behind the scenes and seeing what's going on in there, and it'll blow your mind.
Wow. So who's all here now? We got John. John, what are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Nice. John made it
Coming
down.
from New Jersey?
Yeah. Sweet, Tracy. I don't know you guys. Do I know you guys? I'm Facebook friends with you. Oh, okay. Come on over. Introduce yourself. Grab a mic. Here, grab a mic.
There, I'll just do the secret.
There you go.
For a moment, until someone else needs it.
Okay. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good. What's your name? What are you doing here?
Well, you know, I had to come see you. It's not every day you're over here in Delaware.
No,
so.
never.
I haven't seen you since you were at her house like 2 years ago.
Really? It's been that long?
Yeah, it's been that long.
Wow.
Yeah. So how y'all doing?
Good. Good.
Awesome.
So what are you doing down here in Delaware? You're a patient, right?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been a patient for?
2 years.
Okay.
and I'm not impressed.
Right.
You know, you often find that being in my situation, I have disabilities. Yeah, I have spine problems and whatnot. And I hold a card, but Jesus, try to buy any kind of medication here. You know, you can't even get an ounce. You know, it's like if you want an ounce, you have to buy it in grams or eighths at the very top dollar all the way through it. It's just ridiculous.
We're just saying, that's ridiculous.
Very ridiculous.
You would have thought that after, I mean, they opened in 15. It's now 18, 3 years. They still can't package in an ounce. I don't know. That seems odd to me.
Until they have something that they can't sell, you know, and they're overstocked with it, and then all of a sudden they have ounces of the crappiest stuff that they have.
Yeah, we've seen that. This was packaged 8 months ago. What the hell?
Yeah,
Dry.
the only time I've ever seen an ounce, I'm pretty sure it's been like AC/DC or jet fuel, which is predominantly CBD strain, and you know, there's not a whole lot of people who want that. You know, so it's like, why would you package it in ounces? Package this stuff in ounces that people are gonna buy.
I'll tell you who's just as bad as that. Is I went to DC, and out there they recognize Delaware medical marijuana cards, so I'm able to access the dispensaries there. And I went in, and these people had strains that didn't sell, and all they did was stick another label with a different name right over the bag of an already sealed package.
Wow,
with totally different strain name and everything. And I'm like, what is this? Let me peel this label off and look.
Wait a minute. That's not how you treat medicine.
That is not how you treat medicine. But unfortunately, it's not medicine to them. It's
Could you imagine if like Bayer or AstraZeneca did something like that? Like,
wow.
It's all profiteering under the guise of morality. That's all it is.
We call them cannabaggers. We like that one.
I like that.
Yeah. We got a lot of those in Jersey. Just trying to make a buck now. Forget the patients. Forget the people that you built the industry on these poor people's backs. Now let's just make money off it.
And Lord forbid you travel to another state.
Isn't that kind of the same thing that happened with Big Pharma too, though? So,
what do you mean?
I mean, as far as building an industry on the backs of people who are ill, you know, I mean, it's not lucrative, sure, but that doesn't make it moral.
I just can't believe you can't smoke in public. So if you had a seizure right now, we have to all just look at you and like, oh, sorry for your luck.
Call 911.
It won't take them long. They're right around the corner.
I actually travel with my own medical professional that's with me all the time, so I'm good.
Okay, that's helpful. So, what do you think about the medical program and
it's terrible. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, I'm thankful that I at least have access to medication.
Right.
I'm thankful for that, you know, and I'm thankful for the people that at least got pushed through what they pushed through over the years. But it is nowhere near where it needs to be.
Have you had problems with law enforcement before your card or after your card?
Oh yeah, I got robbed by the police about a month and a half ago.
Wait, what?
I haven't seen my dad in like 7 years, and I took a trip to go visit them, and I had about 20 grams of flour on me and 2 grams of concentrate, and I got stopped by the police.
What police?
New Lexington Police Department. I got stopped by the police, and he walks up to my car and he goes, "How much pot have you had to smoke?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't smoked any weed." He's like, "Don't lie to me. I can smell it." And I'm like, "No, it's just really good weed." I said, "I got it in the back seat." He's like, "Are you serious?" And yeah, I ain't got nothing to hide from you. I got a medical marijuana card. I ain't got nothing to hide. So, we handed the bag over to him, and he opens it up, and he's like, "Oh my God, I've never seen anything this strong. This is the strongest shit ever." He said, "I don't even know what to do about this." And he went and put it in his car. And about 15 minutes later, he comes back and he tells me, he's like, "Yeah, that is definitely the strongest stuff ever. It's got my whole cruiser smelling like pot." I was like, "I told you I didn't smoke any." It was just really good. So he tells me, he has this other cop come up, and they tell me that they have to take it for my safety, even though I had a valid, medical marijuana card. They don't have to recognize my card where I was at. Because I was in Ohio at the time. And even though Ohio has a reciprocity law that says if you hold a valid medical marijuana card, they're supposed to have reciprocity. So he takes my cannabis and he tells me to call the prosecutor Monday morning and see if they'll give it back to me since I was a valid card holder. And I'm like, okay, well, I will do that. So we come back to Delaware, and I called Monday morning, and they had absolutely no idea what I was talking about. And I'm like, well, your police officer stopped me Friday night, and they took 20 grams of pot off me and 2 grams of concentrates and told me I had to call you to get it back. And she's like, well, there's nothing like that in this office. And that's not a felony amount anyways. By state law, that's personal possession, $100 fine, no arrest, without a card. So she's like, you need to call these people that handle misdemeanors and stuff like that and talk to them, to their office. So they gave me the number for them, and I called, and they didn't know what I was talking about either. Nobody brought and turned in any cannabis to them, and told me that even if they did, they wouldn't give it back to me, which I wasn't worried about. I wasn't going to drive back to Ohio to get $150 worth of pot. No big deal. And that's just about the end of it. I mean, there wasn't anything more I could do. I couldn't press the issue. I couldn't, not without getting myself in further trouble or having some cop just say, absolve themselves of anything, like, oh, well, I just destroyed it since it wasn't anything major. And
he incinerated it.
Yeah, he incinerated it with his lungs just to make sure that my safety was okay.
And your safety. I'm taking your medicine away for your safety.
And
okay.
The insulting part is my caretaker asked him, what are we supposed to do? Because like I said, I have a spine disease and I deal with a lot of muscle spasms and whatnot. And she said, what happens if I have one of these problems? If my nerves start pinching up and I can't walk or anything, what do we do? You just took his medicine. And they're like, I'll just call 911. We'll take him to the hospital and he can get some opiates there, and it's like, really?
Beautiful, right?
Like, there it is. There's your gateway right there. Thank you. Good job.
I used to have a problem with prescription medications.
Wow.
Hence the reason I got medical marijuana now. And it got me off of all that stuff.
Wow.
Why would I want to go back?
That's
disgusting.
Is there a police report?
No, nothing. Just my little video of I recorded myself for a brief second or two being pulled over by the cops. But outside of that, I don't know what else to do.
You can get the police report. Want to call them?
Well, should we call them? I don't know.
I thought they didn't have a police report.
No police report.
No confiscation form. No nothing.
Let's find out if there's a police report. We can call them. Find out.
Well, I would hate to raise some more stink for myself than I really need over a little bit of pot.
Whatever you want to do.
Because I mean, I look at it this way. I was visiting in another state, and if I raise too much shit for the police, next thing you know, the federal government's knocking on my door talking about I brought pot across state lines or something.
Well, that just happened to Tracy's husband. He's a disabled war vet, and he took his medicine, illegal medicine, across state lines to Kansas with his 8-year-old son. And the cops pulled him out of the car, pulled his son out of the car, his 8-year-old son, and then beat Dan up in front of his son over some weed.
Jeez,
and he's prescribed. So it happens.
It's terrible.
Wow.
I mean, you would think holding a valid medical marijuana card, that would instill some kind of common sense in the law enforcement. Like I went through all the necessary channels and medical reasonings and to even obtain this card. You think that as long as I'm not running around with scales and baggies and a bunch of weed in my trunk or something, that maybe I really am using this for medicine.
And I was just saying, it's not like it's easy to get one of those cards either. Like you have to go through this long, drawn out process to get the thing. And, like that alone ought to be enough reason to say, oh, well, maybe this is not just some drug that's going to impair you,
Yeah, I've been using medical cannabis for 2 years now. It does not get me stoned.
Right. I don't get high anymore. I get pain relief.
Exactly.
That's it, man.
Exactly.
I used to enjoy it a lot more when I was getting high. I did. Now I have to smoke it, and it's like, okay, it's not fun anymore. It's just I have to smoke. Unless I really dab out a lot.
That hasn't worked for me yet either, man. I had a buddy of mine. He's like, oh, we'll sit here and, take this. And I was new to concentrates at the time. And he's like, this is going to put you on your ass. And, he gives me a dab rip. And it was a nice size chunk too. And, I smoked with him. Like 12 of them later, I'm still standing there and everyone else is ready to go sit down. And I'm ready for more.
and then what?
And then we just smoked a bunch more flower. He was done breaking that concentrate out, man. We went through quite a bit of it.
What works for you the most? What strain is your favorite?
All of them.
That's how I am. I mix them all together.
I mean, truthfully, because I deal with a lot of spasms and stuff, all cannabis works for me. It can be the cheapest dirt swag brick crap you get off of the streets. It stops my spasms every time. It doesn't matter. And I'm okay with that. You know, truthfully, I do prefer, you know, higher grade stuff. It's easier on the lungs, takes a little less, you know, when I can hit something once or twice and get the same relief versus smoking a whole entire joint of something cheaper. You know, obviously I want the better stuff, but it does all work for me. All of it works for me. And I'm very happy with that.
Yeah. I feel you on those spasms. I have those really bad. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going for surgery in January for my stenosis because I can't feel my hands anymore. It's not good.
I deal with the same thing.
Yeah, not good.
It's frustrating. Yes, you have tingling in your fingers.
Yeah, I get tingling in the fingers, and I lose feeling altogether in my legs. Yeah, feels like someone stabbed me between my shoulder blades sometimes.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
that's rough. Yeah. So yeah, we're all suffering here, man. And we demand compassion from these people. That's why we're here in front of this legislative office here. We would hope they'd walk by and see us, but we're actually in the middle of the lawn because I figured you guys would come out here and smoke and break the law. So we have a perimeter of about 100 feet around us. We'll have 200 feet of cord. So I'm trying to protect you guys. So if you see anybody coming, eat your joint real quick. No, nobody's smoking. You guys are really good today. I'm surprised. I'm not used to this. When we're at the State House, we're smoking. We're like bongs. Yeah.
But in Jersey, you're allowed to. That's something that, you know, is not going to hurt you guys.
It makes sense.
Here,
truthfully, I'm out of herbs. So if anybody's watching this, I have cash.
You're out of herbs? Why?
Yeah, I got to go re-up tonight, man.
Jeez. How much do you smoke?
Quite a bit. About a quarter ounce or more a day.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And, you know, my dear friends here who have been friends of mine for years will tell you I do smoke a lot.
Yeah. I've hung out with you. You do smoke a lot.
Definitely smokes more than I do.
Yeah.
Nice.
3 blunts in, I'm about out.
Right. Sorry, I'm eating now.
You're good.
I'm just going to chew on the air. I do a lot of people for doing this, so don't mind me.
Well, we don't mind you at all, man. Enjoy your brownie.
No, I've actually been really trying to be more aware of what I'm doing and who is watching because, you know, what happened with me over just having, you know, I felt legitimately bad for someone who was struggling. And she did everything. She said she did everything.
Wait, the one that faked PTSD.
Yeah,
all right, how do you fake PTSD, and how do you train to fake PTSD?
I mean, this is probably going to end up like the whole thing about faking a seizure. Like, I'm pretty sure I remember something about that a while ago.
Can we fake a seizure too, and go the whole route? Let's fake. Let me see your AIDS face. Come on, what the hell, really? Idiots.
Not the AIDS face.
But it's, I mean, you have people that are really watching, you know what I mean? Like you don't, I never would have dreamed that what happened to me could have even happened. And I was wrong. I was very wrong.
Was it the penises?
It was probably
the gummy dicks.
It started with the dick heard around the world.
Tell me more about the dick heard around the world, please. Tell me.
All right, the dick heard around the world. This is actually what started. That people got mad at me is. So there was this girl.
How do you get mad over gummy penises? Really?
I mean, I don't know, man. I thought it was funny.
That's all love, personally, man. It really wasn't. There was a girl who worked at the dispensary, who said that gummies didn't do anything for her, and I knew that they were making them, or that one of the people in the lab had them, and they were, you know, I wanted to get some feedback on if mine were better. But she said they didn't, you know, she was like, oh, I've had the ones This is the dispensary telling me while I'm purchasing marijuana. Well, I've had the ones at the lab and they haven't done anything for me. So I assumed she had a card, gotten a card. And so I had something on me. I wanted to see if it would affect her. And I gave it to her at the dispensary. And it was a gummy dick. And that dick was not appreciated by the owners.
Well, I can say I've eaten your dicks before. And, they were pretty tasty.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that move was just totally. I just happened to have a gummy in my pocket. She was just waiting on me, and I wanted to, know if it would. I just wanted some feedback, and I thought she had a card as well. Anyway, she was telling me the ones from the lab didn't do anything for her. I assumed that meant she had a card since she was taking home product from the compassion center.
She made a mockery of all the disabled vets. I hope she's proud of herself.
Well, this is the girl at the compassion
different
center.
girl.
And this was the beginning, and this was way back in 16. So this was like in January. It was February 29th.
She was really
a
sick.
Leap year.
This
I
girl-
remember this day
Yep.
forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was the day that shouldn't have happened. And I left a dick on the counter on February 29th. And it cost me a lot of shit. It did. They were offended and they contacted the medical marijuana program and they immediately pulled my license. I didn't know about it. I had friends in the compassion center told me that my card was revoked. I thought they were joking. I was like, no, you're just spreading bullshit. It's all I'm sure someone would have contacted me if my license.
I think they would have let you know, hey,
they
we're
would
taking
have
your license.
asked me about something if I had done something that was not legal. But what it ended up turning out to be is everyone in the dispensary is allowed to possess marijuana. Everyone, they have a card, and so I fought to get my card returned, and I won. And they returned my card because I didn't give it to someone who was not authorized to possess it. I gave it to someone in the compassion center who was fully able to possess it. Now, I did give it to her for her to eat, thinking that she had a card, which she did not. However, it was done in the compassion center, and she was allowed to possess it. She didn't have to eat it, and she didn't. She gave it to her boss. And I got my card revoked for it, but I got it returned a couple months later.
It didn't last long though.
No, the dick started it, but I angered people, and I mostly angered probably the First State Compassion Center, and
First State Capitalism Center.
Yeah.
We did call them too.
We did, but they wouldn't talk to you, Lefty. I remember. I think they hung up.
You instigator.
They don't like talking to anybody. I mean, like, it doesn't even matter if you're a patient in the program. You could call the dispensary and they still don't want to talk to you.
They instigated this whole thing.
But this is an interesting thing that you chose this day, September 20th, because it was on this day that started my second round of problems when I went into the compassion center to buy weed because I had my card. And I was there with a friend, and we were going to make a tincture together. And that is totally allowable within the law, that you're allowed to share between patients. So she was purchasing it, and they don't like anyone to talk to each other in the center. And we knew what we were going to get prior to actually going up to the counter. And so we knew how much money it should be, but you're not allowed to stay together. So she went up to make the purchase, and there was a phone call that happened, and she got sent back. And the girl behind the counter is like, looking at me, looking at the phone, looking at me, looking at the phone. And I'm just like, what's going on here? There's something going down. But then they bring her up again and she gets her stuff and she ends up having to use a credit card for some of the purchase. And she shouldn't have had to, but as we had enough cash to begin with. But, we weren't questioning anything. We got out of there. And it was a funny turn of events there. Is once we got into the car, I'm like, what's going on? How come you had to use a credit card? And she was like, oh, it was more money than what we thought. I don't know. Something's wrong. And in the bag is $420 worth of product that we've just paid $530 for. And it's me. And I'm already hated. And I mean, I'm panicking and I'm like, oh no, there's no receipt. And they didn't give us the only receipt was for the credit card portion of the purchase. They had this policy that if you used a credit card, you don't get a receipt for some reason, an itemized receipt. So although we had bought 400 and some odd dollars worth, we got charged 500. We go back immediately, tell them that there's a cash error and that the drawer needs to be counted down. They set us in the waiting room for 40 minutes and they didn't even close the drawer down. They were taking more people with a drawer that had a cash discrepancy. But they discovered it after about 40 minutes and refunded the money. And I was being a little snarky because we waited so long. And I thought they gave us a free pre-roll for our troubles, but I was a little snarky about that because I thought we should have gotten an eighth for the amount of time and they were holding my money for. But they got a little snarky with us, and they got a little snarky with me, and I got forcibly removed from the compassion center.
Really?
And yeah.
Forcibly? Would they grab you?
Yes, they grabbed me and threw me out. I was cussing at that point. I was very angry that they were being nasty to me. I made some snarky comments.
Well, wait a minute. It's a wellness center. Don't they know how to deal with people that are, in crisis or, under stress, anxiety, PTSD?
They do not.
They
do not. If you have a problem in the compassion center, they remove you.
Sorry for your luck.
Yeah, like
you also sign a waiver saying that you won't say anything negative about them, or
you're not allowed to talk about it on the internet.
Yep, you're not allowed to discuss it, no matter how shitty their practices are, no matter what bad things they do to you. You're not allowed to say anything about it, or they'll remove you.
Like it's even gone as far as there have been people to post reviews on their Facebook page and they've taken the reviews down. Like,
wow,
like poor reviews.
Yeah, only the bad ones. Well, Yelp, they can't do that on Yelp, so I'll just do the Yelp thing.
But that was the actual event that caused the police investigation of me. I was because I was removed and I was yelling in the center and creating a scene. I was reported again, and I didn't have my card revoked by the state for it, but I was removed from the compassion center, and the medical marijuana program wrote one of the people in the program wrote a letter to Detective Al Herring of Newcastle County Police, telling them that if they sent officers to me with a sob story, I'd fall for it, and they needed help removing my card.
Yep.
So
and then it wasn't long after that we had an undercover police officer in our house, and cops busted down our door.
It was just a little bit of a series of misfortunate events that went on.
You're a threat to the community.
I was a threat. I was loud on Facebook. I was loud around anyone. I'm an activist, so I was loud about it, and they wanted me shut down.
It even continued after like the raid and everything, like I got kicked out at Loud Fest last year. That was that was a pretty funky thing. Like,
Nobody wanted Peter around anymore, unfortunately.
yeah, I mean, and for what? Some hearsay? Like, nobody ever asked me what actually happened, you know?
Well, you're speaking for thousands of others that are suffering, so you have to be loud.
Yeah, and sorry you don't like it, but it'll get my point across at the very least.
Yeah.
You know, which is the entire point of doing things like this, right?
That's how you get shit done.
I don't know. I figured that there were going to be hiccups and problems within the medical marijuana program. I really never believed that what happened could happen, and I don't think it was ever like it may not have been intended for it to happen. I don't know. I just know that it did, and you know, once my access was cleared to go back into the First State Compassion Center, because I actually got access back. The investigation on me didn't start until my access to First State Compassion Center was granted. So once Mark Lally let me back into his store, and I worked with their public relations person in order to get access back into the store. And once he let me back in, he notified police that I was making purchases, and their complaint was for diversion in the medical marijuana program. So I needed to have, they needed to get me with diverting their product, not anything off the street. So
Wow.
it was just a little bit of politics going on. Politics.
Good times. So have you made gummy penises since that day, or no?
No,
You're done?
I've not made another penis since.
That's sad.
Not. Oh, well, hold on. You know what? That's not true. That's not true. I did. I still have a. I do. I have all the dick molds, and I did actually make some gummy dicks
And some dick lollipops.
and some dick lollipops that
Oh,
I actually delivered
weren't
some to the medical
medicated.
marijuana office.
They were not.
They were not
medicated.
medicated. They were not medicated. They were just dicks. And so I delivered some to the medical marijuana office. And at the time of my arrest, I was married. And Danny, my husband, he got in trouble and lost his job. And I delivered some dicks to his boss too. So I've delivered some dicks here and there, but they were all unmedicated. The only medicated dick was the original Dick Heard Round the World.
wow.
That was.
I only thought guys slung dick, but I guess you sling dick too.
And she's pretty good at it too.
I did. I
She's
am.
very
I'm
good.
pretty good at
Sling a good
slinging a dick. My balls are also well known across the country.
Don't forget the Wonder Woman boots.
You got big balls for a girl.
And they glow.
I do.
They're
I have a big
chesticles.
dick too. Do you want to see it later? Let me know.
Ruh-roh.
I know, right? The pictures are on the internet. You can find pictures of my dick on the internet.
All right.
Except for the ones Mark Zuckerberg flagged.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, so you can always come to Jersey and enjoy our program. Yeah, right.
You know
I was
what?
gonna say, I hear y'all have just
I-
as many
I'm s-
problems as we do.
Right. I mean, I'm sorry, but I still Delaware's program is better than what Jersey has going on. Pricing,
Yep.
the cost to get into the program, the cost for the medication.
Yep.
I don't like now. I don't know how your dispensaries are. Like, you don't get wanded to go in there, do you?
No, they
You
do
don't
have
get
guns.
like frisked or anything.
Some of them have big guns, but no.
Now,
But they
I
just like
can't-
look at you. So that is a difference in Delaware. Now, when
Really?
when our compassion centers opened, these were run by cops, so they were very strict on it. Security was ridiculous there, and Yeah, you go in, you can't have your phone. You have to put it in a locker. They like strip search you in the park.
Any
It's
bags
not
you
really
might
strip
have,
search, but
like your wallet,
they
your
do
keys.
wand you and going in between my legs, like make you spread, and it was really humiliating. When I worked there, when they first opened, it was much worse.
Wait a minute. I go to Walgreens and they don't do that to me in Walgreens. And they
know
sell
it.
OxyContin and fentanyl in Walgreens.
This is a money thing. And it's just that it's run by cops, so they're more security conscious anyway. The newer centers that open don't have the same security that the First State Compassion Center
Yeah, I was about to
does.
say, to my understanding, the Columbia Care facility, they don't do the whole wand you down for
No,
BS.
they're a little
the
more
First State
lackadaisical about
Compassion
their
Center
weed
does.
and their clients. When they first opened, it was really it was so bad. Like they would, make people uncover their colostomy bags. They would make women take their hats off who, were cancer patients, and it was very it was invasive that you couldn't let anyone come in with you. So I saw one girl come in with IV poles, like two of them, and she couldn't have anyone else in there to even help her, dragging along her medical equipment. You can't go up to the counter with someone. Even
No, we'll fix that. Push someone in a gurney one day. Push someone in a gurney and say, "Here you go. Have fun."
they would just
Do it.
They would not
Push someone.
accommodate you.
Somebody
They're
would be
not-
getting
and-
arrested over that.
Push
Like,
them in
no
with
ifs, ands, or buts.
Like Cheryl Miller. Cheryl Miller was on her fucking deathbed going up. She'd be on a dispensary going away on her deathbed. Jim would be having to push her in a gurney. So what would they do with Cheryl Miller? This pisses me off.
They wouldn't let her in.
Yeah,
that's
sorry,
what
Cheryl.
would happen.
Oh,
They just don't have handicapped. It's not really. It's not.
They've got
there's
a
not
ramp,
accommodations
but it's not
for
really
the kind of
accessible.
conditions that
ramps
people have.
Wait, what?
We have ramps here.
You have ramps, right?
We
We
can
do
get in.
have ramps.
We do have
You
ramps.
can get in with the gurney. I think, right?
PTSD is a
Jesus.
qualifying condition in Delaware, and I'll tell you, PTSD is a very horrible thing. You can't tell someone has it until they're going off on you. Until they're freaking out over
Right.
something. You have no idea what's going on. But even though that's a condition that is recognized as treatable with cannabis, that is not something that you can do. You cannot have any kind of outburst without having serious consequences happen. It's not like in the hospital. And I worked in a hospital and we dealt with people who were altered and they weren't nice, but you're not right. And you're not responsible when you're in a demented state, or you're having some kind of flashback or from trauma that you've experienced. These are the reasons why we've given people access to this plant, to help treat them, to help keep those situations from happening, keep people calm. But yeah, it doesn't happen. I've seen people removed from there so many times for just having a disagreement. But
That's crazy. I'd bring a wheelchair. If you go there, bring a wheelchair. Go borrow someone's wheelchair and go in there and let them search you.
That'll certainly be an interesting thing.
Yeah, I'm done with these
Who's
people.
got a wheelchair? You got one laying around?
Just borrow a wheelchair from someone, and all take turns. You can all take turns going in. Use a wheelchair. Bust their balls. Give it right back to them. Play their game. They want to play games with sick and dying people. The sick and dying don't play fair.
It'd
That's
be
the
pretty
thing.
easy.
We don't play fair.
I mean, Tanya Dallin, I don't know if she's watching, but she's got issues with her knees, getting up and down stairs. What if she's having a bad day one day trying to get in that place? Like has to take the wheelchair.
Yeah,
they're gonna search her.
Well, right. I mean, it is handicap accessible. You can get a wheelchair in there. You can get your scooters in there. They're just not friendly when it comes to, like, if you need someone to help you. I don't know about anyone that's handicapped in your life, but the handicapped people in my life depend on me.
Yeah.
For help. They go shopping. I'm shopping with them. I'm helping them. A lot of, even putting a wheelchair inside a car requires, a second, might require a second person. There's just, but they're not accommodating for that. You can only go in if you have a card, and no one is allowed to help you.
I'd
while
love to
you're
see
there.
that in a gurney. I'd love to see them try to do that with a gurney, because you have
They might have gotten better. I mean,
I wouldn't say that because I'm a medical patient and my roommate is also a medical patient. We live together. We have the same address on both our cards and our driver's licenses, and they still won't let us talk about cannabis together or go up together or any of that.
Yeah, they want you to have a caregiver card and to do that, and then the only way you can do it is if you're with the person who is legally listed as your caregiver.
In Delaware, in order to get a card, you really have to really show that you need a card. There's no easy anyone that can just sign off and anyone just that doesn't happen here. You must have had major medical problems that you have tried within you've done physical therapy, you've done surgeries, you've done they make you prove this. So the people that are in this program are not just everyday, recreational smokers. These are people with severe illnesses that may need help, that may need a little bit of compassion while they're making a purchase. They might need someone in there to help settle their nerves. They might, I mean, most people that are handicapped also have a lot of issues with anxiety. And there's a lot of reasons for that, because you're outcast when you have handicaps.
No, I can't speak for anybody else on this, but I know when I go in there and make my purchases, it's like can't sit still. Like I find myself chewing my fingernails off, like wishing that I could play on my phone and take my mind off of it, but I don't got that because they say, oh yeah, you're not allowed to have the phone in there or whatever. It's like, it's a really nerve-wracking thing when I shouldn't have to experience that kind of stuff going to get my meds.
It's supposed to be wellness. It's not wellness. It's not. When you're being wanded, I've never been wanded to buy my medication anywhere.
Are you allowed to take a phone into your dispensary?
Yeah, I mean, I go into bars where they sell booze with phones, and the Rite Aid, I can go on my phone. And
you could be at the counter of the pharmacy on a video call with somebody, and they don't care.
Yeah, and I'm buying something that's going to kill 20 people if I wanted to,
yeah, I mean,
fentanyl. I got fentanyl right here.
Fentanyl patches.
Yeah,
like anybody.
That's okay. It's family friendly fentanyl.
That's what they say. Isn't that the same stuff that's been killing everybody?
Do you have towns down here that are banning your medical cannabis, like we have in Jersey? They're all banning it now, like freaking out.
No, not that I'm aware of.
I haven't heard anything like that in Delaware. I know they do have done that in other places too, like Colorado does that in some places. Yeah. There was another place I heard about doing that, and I can't remember right off top. But
there are a lot of rules and requirements in where a dispensary can be located. So I mean, that could limit some people, but I mean that has to do with
schools, churches, government buildings.
Yeah, the schools being around, all kinds of different rules that they have to follow. Right. But it still they've been able to get one in every county and multiple now. So we have one in Sussex, one in Kent, and one in Newcastle County, but soon to be the second one is opening up for Newcastle County.
I totally remembered what the other dispensary is in Newcastle County. It's at the old Alexander's Garden Center, the Garden State.
Garden State Dispensary. Yeah, that's the one that got it. The owner's of Garden State.
Okay.
From New Jersey.
Yeah.
From Jersey.
Yep. Now, are they unionized here? UFCW, are they down here? Because they're in New Jersey also, the union.
I don't know. Interesting, though, if they're union.
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
Yeah, wow. I know none of the other ones are.
If there's a cannabis workers union, I'd be pretty interested to know that.
Right. UFCW. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you learn something
You
new
learn something
every
every
day.
day.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to run that one by.
I want to
But
check that
I
out.
bet I don't know if they would.
Yeah, contact Hugh Giordano. He's the union rep for UFCW, New Jersey.
Okay.
Hugh Giordano. He's the man. He comes to all the council meetings with us.
Oh, cool.
So are all the dispensaries union?
No, just the one right now, but there are others are following.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
If they want to get it right, they'll follow.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, because unions have kind of been going by the wayside lately, so it's kind of nice that you're seeing new, the whole new cannabis industry going into unions.
It's great. Great for
That
training,
is.
wages, insurance. It's-
I think
standards.
unions have gone by the wayside for a lot of reasons, largely due to the same sort of corruption you find with lobbyists.
Yeah. So are you guys talking about adult use cannabis here in Delaware at all, or no? That's not on the table yet.
It was. It
Yeah.
didn't pass. They're gonna try again.
Yeah.
Soon,
Okay.
Yeah.
So they tried it and it didn't pass.
Yeah.
Right. We do have House Bill 110 that has been when did they put that in? 14?
Yeah,
They've been
around.
trying to get it through. It hasn't yet, but
it's
Why?
we're
made some
close.
progress.
Why not? Why hasn't it gone through?
Politics.
Like what's holding it up? Is there a particular politician holding it up? or-
It's more
Five
or
of
less
them.
the support that there's people out there that still have this old way of thinking with regards to cannabis.
Yeah.
And it puts a real hindrance on actually making the progress that people like us are trying to make. And the other part of that is I'm pretty sure House Bill 110's left up to a supermajority vote is the other problem. So you have to have more than
2/3 or something? or-
yeah.
Wow. Why is that? How'd that happen? They have all these stupid rules and they play the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Politics.
Jeez. What was holding it up though? Was there any issue holding it up, or
There was the one big thing I think that would have caused it to not go through this last session was they implemented a cannabis task force kind of thing where it was going to create like 50 jobs in, so they on top of the bill and getting it to pass, they threw in this, and we're going to put 50 new jobs in the state, and we're going to need this much money to do that. And they were like, okay, where did this come from? We didn't know nothing about 50 new jobs coming in. And so I think that was like the biggest thing that was added like at the last second and created a huge stink when it came to passing the bill was money. And
The right people weren't getting the money.
yeah. I know Senator Uncle Ron Rice came around once he got his money.
Yeah.
He was against cannabis, and all of a sudden he's for a dispensary in Newark, and we're like, well, what happened?
Somebody paid him.
Somebody gave him a bag of money. That's what happened. That's how it works in Jersey.
I think that's how it works everywhere.
But I'd say I like Ron Rice. He at least called our podcast. He called our podcast twice, actually 3 times. The third time I wasn't sure if it was him or not, but there was 2 times he definitely called. It was definitely him, and I give him credit for calling up, jumping into the Shark's tank here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Definitely
want
the
to
Shark's tank
to
here.
hold hands.
Yeah, I'm not very nice, but
I
Nice to
mean,
meet
but
you,
there's not
scare
really
people.
reason to be nice about it. Being
No.
nice about it isn't getting anybody anywhere.
no, you're not getting shit. You suffer, and you got to sit there and suffer and be nice and suffer. So
Yeah, you
Gotta
You
fight.
experience the kind of pain and suffering that any of us experience, and tell me how happy you are in the end.
shit, in New Jersey, I got assaulted by a woman. I got beat up by a woman trying to get a ramp.
I saw that.
Yeah, like
Pussy.
what was
right
up
out
with
and hit
that?
you.
Is she like
She was pretty tough, man. She had muscles. She was big. She did some sumo shit on me, man. It wasn't my fault. Jesus. She was tough though, man.
Oh,
Yeah, I gotta sue them. I should sue them. I should. They have no ramp. There's no ramp. Nothing.
is there a ramp yet?
No.
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 Wow.
They lied.
Oh, I thought they had one.
No.
I thought you went back.
No, they lied. There's 2 steps. There's no ramp for that. They'll get you into the first step, maybe. And that's it. I'm going back there. I'm gonna go back this week and tell them I'm suing them for $100,000 again.
You're gonna get punched out again. She's gonna get on top of you this time and start hitting you.
Wow.
She's gonna give you a righty.
She messed me up, man. She hurt me. That was hurtful. Like, really, you got some long-haired guy with a beard outside your window yelling at you, and your best course of action is to come out and smack the shit out of him. Wow. She's got balls. Got bigger balls than you.
You think?
And when I saw her in court, I said, I want you on my team. I told her, I said, I want you on my team because you're crazier than me. She wouldn't talk to me.
I bet she wouldn't.
She walked right away from me. Real fast. Oh, man. Jeez. So, yeah, these guys talk freely in the dispensary here. He takes his phone. He talks to every patient that makes eye contact. He's a patient, not a criminal. Yeah, George. That's how it should be, George.
Yeah. Nobody should feel like they're being arrested trying to get their medicine, because that's really what it feels like. I mean, got everything except the cuffs. I mean,
State police vehicle sitting outside the dispensary and everything.
yo.
I ain't even figured that
Sometimes
one out
they
yet.
don't sit right outside the dispensary. Sometimes they're like a block down, but
Oh,
still.
When's the
like,
last time you've been down to the Lewis?
I haven't ever been to the
Go
Lewis
down
location.
to FCC Lewis. There's a state
Well, we're
police
down here.
SUV
Maybe
sitting
we
out
can-
there every day. And
We're
I
down
know
here.
who's
Maybe we'll
driving
take a
it.
visit to the Lewis dispensary. You feel like going to the
You
beach?
know who's driving it.
All right, I want to do something stupid here.
There was once upon a time I thought somebody was my friend, and I learned otherwise.
Yeah. The kinds of friends that say they're friends and aren't really friends.
But it pays to have connections in this state. This
Ye-
is a good state if you know people.
I mean, what's your famous saying? It's who you know and who you blow,
Who
right?
you know and who you blow.
Question. I want to call this masturbators place. The
Are
first
we
thing,
getting some crabs? Yeah, let's call them.
the first thing I see in Delaware is masturbators. So I'm like, all right, I got to call these guys. I'm sorry, I have to do this. But
We go there quite often, actually.
what should we ask them?
How much are what's your biggest crabs? You need some big crabs. What's
Okay.
the price?
Ask them how many crabs they got.
How many
Yeah.
crabs? Okay.
How many
You have
crabs
crabs
Do you have
Do you have
at
crabs?
masturbators.
Do you
At
steam them?
masturbators.
And what
Can
else?
I ask if
Give
you
me
steam them?
What, semen?
Steaming.
Oh,
Steaming.
semen.
Get your mind out of the
I
gutter,
know. I know.
Can you get them pre-semened?
This,
man.
this should be fun. I wonder if they ever had this happen to them before. All right, here we go.
Oh, I'm sure more than once.
Yeah, this should be fun. Come on, please work. Sometimes my phone doesn't work. Come on, baby. Gimme. Damn it. Really? I don't hear nothing.
Was it the first time you'd seen them?
My phone's not working. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Let me fix this.
They didn't answer with masturbators. What the hell? Even they don't like their name. That's bad.
All right, we'll do it the hard way. Get it? Hard way. All right.
I know, right? That's the best way.
Thank you for calling Masturbators Bait and Tackle, where it's hard to beat our bait. We are located at 775
You get it?
South DuPont Highway
You get it?
in Newcastle, Delaware. Please listen to the following options. If you would like to hear the hours and directions, press option 2. If you would like to reach the bait and tackle, press option 3. Or if you would like to hear the live crab prices, press option 4. Press option 5 to leave a general message. Thanks and have a great day.
They must not be there.
You got to select one of their numbers.
I have
I
to
know.
fix. I want to get
4. I want to know how much them crabs
Yeah,
are.
How much are them crabs?
Sorry, I ain't got no money anyway.
This. There it goes. Now it's working.
Thank you for calling Masturbators Bait Tackle, where it's hard to beat our bait. We are located at 775 South DuPont Highway in Newcastle, Delaware. Please listen to the following options. If you would like to hear the hours and directions, press option 2. If you would like to reach the bait and tackle, press option 3. Or if you would like to hear the live crab prices, press option 4. Press option 5 to leave a general message. Thanks, and have a great day. Thank you for calling Masturbators Bait and Tackle, where it's hard to beat our bait. Please leave a message. Thank you very much.
You guys are so funny. You know, I'm from New Jersey, and I just drove through Delaware, and the first thing I see in Delaware is a sign about masturbating. I'm just like, really? I'm like, oh, my God. So I had to call you. We're on a live podcast right now. So, wow. We got women here that are just shocked by masturbating company.
She
Not
frequents
me.
that place often.
Yeah, Jekka says she goes there a lot for crabs. You have crabs, Jekka?
Not right now.
So she needs crabs. Can you help us with some crabs? Give us a call, 908-616-0682, 908-616-0682. We're here for another hour, so please give us a call back. We want to know more about your crabs and about your masturbating techniques. Okay, and we're going to keep you on the air while we do our show now. Thank you. Have a nice day. Wow, this is great. You have some good stuff down here. A masturbating store. Joey Lyons is here with us, or Tommy, Joey, Tommy, L Train, come over here, man. I want to talk to you. Just grab this. You can sit. I got another mic here. Get in here, Joey, Tommy, L Train. I don't even know what to call you anymore. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Love you, man. I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks, brother. I'm glad to be here.
And now you work for what dispensary? Is this here? What's it say?
This is the dispensary I work for, Lefty. This is Nature's Care and Wellness. You were just mentioning wellness earlier. I tell you what, wellness starts at Nature's Care and Wellness, and that's no joke. I've got some facts that I want to run by you.
Okay.
You ready for this?
You got facts and
I've got
stats?
some facts and stats.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh, boy. All right.
I want to talk about the 5 states here on the East Coast that don't have any reciprocity. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. Divided by imaginary lines, and you can't drive from New Jersey to Delaware with your meds.
You have reached the recording limit. To review
Terrible.
your message, press 5. To delete the message you recorded, press 3. To delete and
Don't
re-record
delete
your
it.
message, press 7. If you are satisfied with your message, press the pound key. Ready.
All right. We good on that? That cracks me up. Lefty, you always crack me up, dude. I love what you do. Because you got to keep it light. Because in a world of, in our community, in the cannabis community, there's too much sadness.
We go
too
from
much
crying
depression.
to happy, cry to happy, cry to happy.
All right, well, let's go from cry to happy to
Stats.
All right, let's see. So we're in Delaware right now. The DelawareChronic.net, or excuse me, the DailyChronic.net reports 2 new conditions were added to the Delaware medical program recently, migraines and glaucoma, for a total of, in accordance with normal.org, 15 qualifying conditions for over 3,200 approved patients and only 3 dispensaries. There's nothing available to see on Weed Maps either in regard to products or pricing, which I think is unfortunate because people in Delaware can't go on any kind of menu and see what's available to be purchased at the dispensary.
What?
The only thing you can do is give them a call, and then they'll verify your medical marijuana card over the phone, and they'll tell you what strains they have available. And chances are, if it's anything that's popular, it's not going to be available by the time you made the drive an hour to get there, and they will not give you prices over the phone.
That's really unfortunate. How do you prepare financially? How do you budget for something like that?
They do that at Walmart.
No, they give you the prices at Walmart.
Yeah, they do it. They give you prices at Walmart and Rite Aid when they sell you fentanyl and deadly stuff.
Yeah, and some of that's covered by insurance.
And yeah, oh wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
Is anything here in Delaware covered by insurance?
No.
No.
That's sad.
Jersey?
You're funny.
It was more of a joke
You're
than anything.
funny.
All right, let's talk about New Jersey. From NJ.com, the state has received 146 applications to run 6 new retail shops that would be selling cannabis to more than 30,000 people authorized to take it for conditions ranging from anxiety to chronic pain. I put all this stuff together, so I'm not just trying to like boilerplate read. So the would-be operators of the 6 new dispensaries. There's going to be 2 in North Jersey, 2 in Central, 2 in South Jersey. There are currently, I think there's
6 dispensaries right now. One recently opened in North Jersey. There's going to be a total of 12 dispensaries, again, for a populace of over 30,000 patients. With Jersey's recent revamp of the guidelines, Lefty, correct me if I'm wrong, but any doctor now, any PCM can approve cannabis in the Jersey program. Is that right?
Yeah, but they don't. They don't know about it, but they're allowed to.
Okay, so they are allowed to, at least. So the population in Jersey of approved patients at around 30,000 right now. In the next couple of years is probably going to potentially double. And let's say it's at least 40,000. How are you going to have 12 ATCs for 40,000 people? I don't understand that. I don't think that makes any sense. It kind of makes me really upset because I'm a Jersey boy, born and raised. You know, I'm the Jersey boy. L Train, North Jersey, Parsippany, Lake Hiawatha represent all day, KGP. Shout out to my fam up there. Shout out to the Run New Jersey crew, all the people that try to take care of everyone in New Jersey. Compassion. There are people in New Jersey who help patients.
You see
know
it,
that,
Joey.
and I know it. I
Sick people, man. Sick, dying people. They need help.
They do need help. From what I understand, ounce prices for flower in New Jersey ranges from $400 up to about $560.
Disgusting.
That is disgusting. Now, you can get some shake. You can get trim ground for $45 a quarter. So I think that puts you at $180 an ounce, which is all right if you're trying to make edibles. So, I mean, I guess that's something. But if you're trying to smoke, if you need powerful flower, you're going to be looking at $560 an ounce. And that's really sad.
And most of the time, that's with the discount. Most of the time, that's after the discount that you're looking at the 560. You'd be looking anywhere at, you know, I mean, a lot of places have quarters now. Your cheapest is $90 for a quarter.
$90 for a quarter.
That's what they call their like midline.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
Well, so we all know.
Looking, you know, I mean, right there.
Tracy, you're suffering on a daily basis. Cannabis helps you, right?
It's the only thing that gets me by.
And it's a struggle for you to obtain this medicine to get what you actually need in New Jersey.
Times 2? 3? Yeah. Hell yeah.
You're doing wonderful, though. Like, I saw you doing push-ups over here, and that was a true inspiration.
Yeah,
yeah, but they didn't count. They weren't real.
No, they
count.
They were
absolutely
not
counted.
real. They
Better
were
than I
not
could do.
real.
More than I can do.
No, they were not real push-ups. They were not real push-ups. My feet were wobbly, so they were not real.
Well, I loved it. I thought it
Real
was really
push-ups are straight up and down on the toes.
Good job. I love it. New York, right? So the New York State Department of Health reports New York has almost 60,000 patients. There's only 13 approved conditions, and they have 20 dispensaries. So 20 dispensaries for 60,000 patients. I don't know how you can even do that. And talking about the approving conditions. So Delaware only has about 3,200 approved patients right now, maybe a little bit more than that. You mentioned how stringent it is to get approved for a cannabis card. So like Jekka, when you were talking about all that, how much you have to go through to get the approval for the card. I mean, it's terrible. I'm going to compare a lot of this to Maryland. Their program just came online recently, and I think you're all going to be like, what is going on with these other 4 states? Pennsylvania can have up to 50 dispensaries. They've got almost 13,000 patients. They've been coming online. People like Happy Hippie, who have been fighting, Christy Billett, people over there in Pennsylvania who have been working for so long, fighting, advocating for this medicine in the state. None of the states have home grow either. So I know that's something that you've been fighting for a long time. Lefty, you've been fighting for this medicine for almost 30 years. And I know that, and I appreciate that. People like you, Weedman, like everybody that's just been vocal, and everybody that's here, like, thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me back. I know it's been a while, so it really does mean a lot.
We missed you, Joey.
I missed you too. Everything's getting better though, one day at a time.
Yeah,
I went through a lot of personal stuff that was pretty awful, and I've been struggling, but things are getting a lot better. Not only for me, but I think for everyone, for a lot of people that I've been seeing in Maryland. So here's some stats on Maryland. The program came online, and the first dispensary opened about 9 months ago. It was in mid-December. After that, I think we were the 3rd dispensary to open. So I'd started in December working on programs, getting the shop up and running, which was really great. We had a soft opening in January, and then in February, we were full blown. We've got almost 1,500 patients right now who have registered with us, and we register people. So everybody here has to pay the state. There's no paying the state in Maryland. There's no fee. You don't have to pay for the card. It's completely free. You get approved by the state within about 2 weeks.
Whoa.
Some people have been getting approved in 3 days. Now the state just gives you the approval. Once you have that approval and you've been verified by a doctor, the doctors are, you can go to a doctor and they can diagnose you. So you're going to pay about $100 to $250, depending on the doctor you see, which I don't think is too bad. I mean, doctors have to charge. They got to make money, but the state isn't, which is good. There's no tax on the medicine. And it's really easy to register. NCW is having a patient appreciation party this weekend. We're expecting about 500 people or so. We're going to have crabs. We're going to have food. Everybody's going to get a T-shirt. That's the kind of things that we're doing at the dispensary.
Where are you getting the crabs from?
Local.
Masturbators? Yeah, for that one.
I love you, Lefty. So you keep this show lit because it's got to be fun, man. You got to smile every once and again. Maryland, the state was approved for 102 dispensaries. And according to the Baltimore Sun, as of today, there are almost 50 50 operational retail facilities for over 28,000 registered patients. When the program started, the dispensaries were carrying flower eighths for about $85 each. It's 8 months later. I know at least NCW, you can get an eighth on a daily basis. You can get 1 or 2 different kinds of eighths for $25 an eighth. And that's really nice flower. There are a variety of growers, processors, and when you come into the retail store, there are different things from everybody out there. So there are a lot of great pricing opportunities, people that need bud to smoke. It's very hard to afford that. Now, when you can go in, you can see things on the store that are like $160 an ounce prepackaged. Now, that's not going to be your fire that costs $60 an eighth, but it's good meds that are quality and tested. Things that you can bring home and have safe access to use. Now, you can't smoke outside in Maryland, but I think that's okay. You can vape, you can use your tablets. There are also opportunities that I don't see in Delaware, in New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. When I talk about tablets, tinctures, topical application, transdermal applications, there's a transdermal pen, there's transdermal patches. There are... they can't have edibles, but that's okay. Basically, they're just looking to try to protect the kids from getting into things like gummies and things that are attractive to kids. But vape options, there's a ton of them. They have the loose concentrate, so people that are into dabbing or people that just need concentrated meds to get through what their ailments are and their symptoms. Rick Simpson oil, Lefty. I know you'll be excited about this. There's Rick Simpson oil that is almost straight THC, and then there's CBD and THC Rick Simpson oil. There's a variety of different options, and it's really helping people. It's really helping people. The sublingual ingestion has been excellent for people with cancer, people with MS, people that are struggling with inflammation, people with epilepsy. I mean, it just goes on and on. Like terminal patients, people that they're seeing tumor reduction with Rick Simpson oil.
Yes.
There are people out there who are getting, who I know one patient who was caught in early stage cancer. He loaded up on patches. He loaded up on Rick Simpson oil. I think 60 days later, his screen came back clean. So that was awesome.
What kind of patches?
These are transdermal patches, and basically the transdermal patch is loaded up with THC. For example, I've seen them at 20 milligrams of THC, right? So you get them, they're expensive. They're like $20. But again, this is new to the program. Prices have been coming down across the board, which is excellent because people are getting safe access to more products at a more affordable rate. But the transdermal patch, so I recommend cutting them into 4s. You put it on your wrist where the skin is really thin, right on your vein, and it goes straight into the vein. So it's full body relief, your cannabinoids through your entire body, through your bloodstream. On top of the patch, there's a pen. Basically, it just looks like a pen. You pop the cap off, push the button, and a little bit of oil comes out, just a little bit, because you don't need a lot. The pen has over 100 milligrams of THC. So you pop that off, and then same thing, you rub it right over the vein that's on your wrist, and you do that because that's where the skin is really, really thin, and it's venous, so it just gets straight into your blood. So things like sublingual, things like the transdermal, those are excellent ways. Now, you talked about suppositories earlier. That's not something that's available on the shelves yet. However, we have cooking classes in the store with Magical Butter Machine. I know you love the Magical Butter Machine.
Love it.
Magical butter. It makes your recipes better. I'll never forget that, man. You're the reason I bought a Magical Butter Machine.
Tell Garen Angel that.
Garen Angel, this man is the reason why I bought a Magical Butter Machine. But you can do a lot. You can make tincture. You can try to make, however you make suppositories. I'm not the subject matter expert on that. That's Dina in our store. She's just incredible. She's the edibles lady. She tells everyone how to make their edibles, how to dose accordingly.
In all seriousness, people with prostate cancer tend to like the suppositories to get it close to their that's so really work? It's yes
They do.
Yeah, I have swamp ass right now from mine, but it really helped me.
Not only the suppositories are amazing, especially for people with gastrointestinal problems, but the suppositories is a great way to get the medicine into your system for, again, full body relief. One thing that I want to see on the shelves, and I've talked to you about this before, Lefty.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. You're on the air.
Lefty.
Left. Oh my God, this Garen
He's
Angel
watching?
It is. How are you?
Hey, buddy, how you doing, dude? Wow, you must be watching us.
No, I was meaning to hit you when I landed in New York last week, and my schedule didn't permit. So I had a 3-minute here before lunch and figured I'd reach out to Lefty, see how he was doing.
Oh man, we're live on the air right now. We're down in Delaware. We're at the Delaware STATEHOUSE of all places, and we're talking to patients down here who are suffering and dying trying to get their medicine. They have the same problems we have in Jersey. It's awful what they're going through here.
Yeah, I mean, that happens around the world at this point. Not to discount it, it's just it's recognizing the time we live in and the change that's occurring. Fortunately, there's never been a better time to be alive. That's the beauty of the situation. We know that regulatory affair change is sweeping the world.
Garen, you're such a positive person. I love it. I love your 15-minute talks that you used to do. I used to play them on our show. They were very inspiring to me.
Thank you. Yeah, I hopped back into them a little bit lately because because of the amount of feedback that I got where people were finding it useful, and I love helping people. So if people are finding them useful, I'm going to commit back to doing more of them. And I like doing them, right? Like I want people to have more tools in their tool chest for either communication or business or family or love.
Yeah, you're very good. You're a very good speaker, and that's why you're traveling all over the world. I just saw you go to Chicago, to Tampa, to Hong Kong. You're all over the place, man. You got a great machine there.
Yeah, we have a great team, and our products are incredible. They deliver value, and the team really executes well. It's been nonstop travel for everyone as we expand, but things are going really great. I mean, we're U.S., Canada, Australia, New Zealand, EU, UK, South Africa, Mexico. So that's why the travel is so intense. Is as we expand, you have to set up operations.
Yeah, you make it very easy for the sick and the dying to make their medicine. So we all thank you for that. You have a new machine that you're promoting now, or something new?
We have all kinds of new stuff. There's tremendous amount of innovation that's been occurring over the last, let's call it 24 months. The R&D side of Magical Butter has been full steam, and it's actually our largest investment for both 2018 and 2019 is all R&D. So the amount of new products we have coming out. Actually, I designed a new product yesterday that I think will be a smashing success. It's one that every single person who enjoys cannabis will like to have. It's a simple thing, but something everybody needs.
You going to tease us? You going to tell us? No. Do we have a hint?
I don't know if I can yet.
I
don't know if I can yet.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's not a. Is it a grow? Can you grow with it?
Pretty.
You can't grow with it.
Okay.
It's for, but I will send you one of the first ones. How about that? And this will be out. This will be a quick turnaround for us. It should be out. I anticipate it to be everybody's favorite Christmas gift this year.
Oh man! Wow. Okay.
Yes. Awesome. Can't wait for this one.
Garen, you've been so generous with us. You've given us dozens of machines, and we've given them to the sickest people. And all of your machines have gone to good use. They're all helping the sickest, and we all can't thank you enough for what you've done for the New Jersey community here. And thank you so much, man. You're the best.
Together we win. There's patients need stuff, and like you had mentioned, there's a lack of insurance reimbursement or access. So any way that we're able to move the needle for a family who's struggling, I mean, it gives us goosebumps to be able to help. It's the most rewarding thing you can do as somebody who has a company. They're just and it gets our team unified as well. That's when you're doing good for other people. There's no hypocrisy in the office, or there's no conflict in the office, because everybody sees the love that the brand shines. So it's important for us to always give.
Yeah, we see that. What a great company.
So, well, yeah, and tell me, how's the family? How's everything going? Good?
Yeah, we're doing good. I'm going to be going for another operation in January for my stenosis. I'm in a lot of pain. So I'm going to be doing that, and hopefully I'll feel better after that, and I'll be able to keep podcasting, because I'm loving this. We're actually we're reaching out to a lot of people, man, and we're getting a lot of help and a lot of support. And we can't thank everyone enough for coming out and helping, man. It's been great.
Yeah, I mean, messages need to be heard. It's what moves. It is what changes the equation. It's unfortunately, activists wind up with a mark on them sometimes, be it from politicians or the feathers that they ruffle along the way. But if activists aren't shining spotlights on things that need to be changed, they never come to light.
That's right. We have a lot of towns that are banning cannabis here in New Jersey. So we have we bring the sick and dying out to these councils and we beg for our lives. And the problem is the people that are talking about cannabis are police chiefs. And I know enough of cops in New Jersey to know that if a cop believes in legalization, they can't talk about it. They're not legally allowed to say that. And it's a big problem because I want the cops to be protected. I want the cops to be able to speak their minds, and they can't. And it's not fair.
So, in my opinion, I believe New Jersey will have some of the loosest cannabis laws in the country. And I think that's forthcoming within the next 2 years or so. I'm watching the politicians and also the chatter of the desire for the industry. And I do think that New Jersey wants the industry. They just don't know how to implement it. And that's a problem. The challenge is that people are afraid of cannabis. I agree, they shouldn't be. But politicians are afraid of it. And it keeps them from having any balls, quite frankly, right? They have no balls. They can't say, hey, look, this isn't a harmful substance. It doesn't matter that it's a Schedule I narcotic. That's a bullshit classification for a molecule that is non-lethal and has medicinal value. The DEA has it scheduled wrong, and I'm a politician who's going to stand up behind what's right because unjust laws deserve to be disobeyed. And there's not enough of that because politicians get a paycheck, and a lot of them rely on this as their primary source of income, especially in state politics. When you get to the federal level, it's weird. At a federal level, it's much easier to have a candid discussion about cannabis, and there's much more knowledge transfer that occurs because they want the data. They want to hear. They want to learn. They want to know how to help their constituents. And on a state level, frequently the politicians do whatever their political affiliation asks them to, because they want that support of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, because that's how they stay in office and get their campaign contributions.
Oh yeah, we see it.
So I guess the message there is if you want to lobby, it makes a lot more sense to lobby on a federal level. I do it on all levels. I know you guys are out there raising awareness on all levels, but on a federal level, it's so much more effective. It's crazy, because that's where the money is, that's where the power is, and that's where the ability to really affect changes.
Any suggestions for some federal pressure for us? What we can do?
So, I mean, we do it slightly differently, and there's no right or wrong way. I go to the politicians and I offer them help, right? Like, is there a scientist or a doctor that you'd like to speak with regarding seizures and cannabinoids? I'll make an introduction to you for a world-renowned physician or scientist who can discuss this subject matter with you. I'll be on the line, and anytime there's a translational difficulty, I understand the science, and I'll explain it to you so you understand it. And with that, it opens doors because they want the knowledge. A lot of them are timid because they're talking about subjects that they're not well versed in. They're not medical professionals. They're not scientists. And so it's intimidating to discuss proteins and interleukins and things that a lot of people don't discuss on a daily basis. Just having somebody there that is just trying to offer them a free education with notable thought leaders and high pedigreed physicians and scientists is, if your audience wants to go and affect change, that's the easiest way to do it. Who's the highest ranking medical or scientific, pedigree in your Rolodex, and connect them to a politician and say, hey, let's do this. Let's talk.
Yeah, that's what we're doing in Sayreville. We have a doctor coming to the Sayreville meeting next week to dispute everything he says, basically. So, yeah.
Well, there's an art form. So a lot of times I find it better when you do the meeting ahead of time with the politicians and you give them a chance to learn. So that way, when you're in the public forum and they control the microphone and the timer, you can make them appear very educated on the subject matter. And now you've changed roles. Instead of being combative, like, hey, you don't understand this, you don't know what's going on, here's what's happening. It's, yes, we had lunch the other day and we discussed this problem. And here's some solutions that we've brought to the municipality we'd like you to listen to. And it just, I watch a lot of activism, and I think that a lot of activism requires more groundwork and a little slower time period. The challenge that we have is that we want to move everything so quickly. And look, I want it to move so quickly myself. But I've learned through the years that really anything I want to do, if I don't have at least a year, it's probably not going to happen, because that's the timeline that a politician works on. It takes them that long to put workshops together and to get them to a point of digesting the data where they feel comfortable changing their stance on the topic. But it's a long investment in these politicians.
Yeah, they're evolving slowly but surely. They're evolving. They have to.
Yeah, I agree. If they have to be on the right side of history, and a lot of them have notably not been, but their political career will be in jeopardy if they don't change.
Garen, I got a question for you. You hang off buildings, you fly off of these little parachutes, you do some crazy stuff. What was the most scared you've ever been on one of your crazy stunts? I know you had to be scared once or twice.
So I'll give you a better one than this.
Oh boy!
All right. So we just did the world's tallest urban climb and the world's tallest bungee jump.
Oh God!
And then there's a walk around the ring where you take a rope and you tie yourself in on a rope and you walk the outer ring. Well, there's a point where it's a trust fall. Essentially, you put your feet on the end of the building, and you start to lower yourself down with the rope.
Oh no!
And then you just let go.
No.
And you open your arms back like you're getting ready to hug the world.
No.
So I have, yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one.
No.
So I have a great friend of mine who was on this trip with me, and he is scared shitless of heights, right? Well, I convinced him to do this world's tallest urban climb, the tower walk, and the world's tallest bungee jump. Well, we're on the walk around the outside, and he's not comfortable. It is like, this is intimidating. It's a gut check in your life. Well, he's walking around the building, and finally we convince him it's his turn to do the trust fall. So finally we convince him he's got his feet on the edge, and they're half on, half off, and he starts lowering himself down, and right as he lets go of the rope to do the trust fall, I look at him and I go, "Alex, no, the rope!" And it was right when he started to fall, and I watched his face literally die. I mean,
oh my God!
I would
my
kill you. That would
God.
be a. I'd be
Oh,
like
that's the
just for all
funniest shit
this.
you've ever
cutting
seen in your
rope.
life.
I am never going with you on.
No, never,
It was the
never.
funniest shit you've ever seen in your life. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, for you.
Who not
Yeah,
to
I mean,
trust.
it was.
You know who not to trust.
So I was laughing so hard I was cramping, and it was a team building experience. We had another friend, Jason, there with me, and so we're both dying laughing. Like, I mean, my stomach is completely cramped up.
That's
It might have been the
hilarious.
hardest I've ever laughed. And then, right as I stopped laughing, the guide who was there on the stunt with us goes, "Oh man, that was not cool." And then I lost it all over again.
I've never seen anybody do that before.
that was not cool.
Not cool, man.
There isn't enough butter in the
So
world to make
that's
me
the
go
most
hang out with
scared
you.
I've ever seen somebody,
Right?
right? Like, you gotta have a sense of humor
That
in
better
life,
be
and if
one-
you're not trying to make your friends laugh, there's something wrong with you.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that is just too much, Garen.
That better be one hell of a Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
You got extra
I
10%.
mean,
Extra tithing for you.
it better be an extra more than 10%. No way.
I mean, I gave him the best bonus ever. He conquered a fear. We seeded that memory
Yeah.
with something he will
Yeah,
look back
true.
at, and he will laugh every time he tells that story for the
True.
rest of his
Yeah,
life.
you did.
Yeah,
And
you got
I
that.
yeah. But
If you-
monetary stuff only takes you to dinner.
That's true.
well, I'm
but-
going to tell you now, you did not
As soon as
conquer
you
his
took the
fears
meal out
unless
of
he'll
his
go
son.
back with you.
Wait, what's that, dude?
I said, if he won't get back up
I
there and
said-
do it again, you didn't conquer his fears.
Right?
Yeah, did he-
exactly. There you go.
Did he get back up? Did he do it again?
Yeah, he'll do it again. I mean, he afterwards he said it was the best experience he's ever done in his life. Like he understands the growth, the human growth that came from taking something that you thought was impossible mentally and just crushing it. So that's
Wow, that's wow.
that's what we all should do for our friends.
I think I need to do that, Garen. I think I need to go with you.
Yeah, come on, it'll be a good time.
Yeah, throw me off a building. Go for it.
Can we wait till after the surgery?
Yeah, after surgery.
I want to go.
Well, I have a 1:00 meeting, so I have to run. I'm going to be a few minutes late to it.
Okay.
But I wanted to call and just check in. I love you, brother, and want to say hi. Great work on everything you guys do, and look forward to chatting again soon.
Love you too, Garen. Thank you so much. Quick question: who's a bigger commie?
Who's a bigger commie?
What you do to your friends, Lefty. How people know they're loved by you. Such a harsh way.
But you got me so bad the first time.
Right?
You see what he does to his friends. That's nothing compared to what he does.
Yeah, that's true.
Shit.
That's true.
I gotta step up my game, start throwing people off freaking roofs. Jesus, Garen.
Yeah, but you don't have the money that he does.
Yeah, he could pay
so
for
it's a little bit different.
He
you
can
know?
pay off everybody.
Like, exactly.
Here's $1 million bucks.
Yeah,
Shut up.
Here you go. Here, oh, you want to cry a little bit? Here.
You gonna squirt some? I'm gonna cry. Here's another $1 million. Shut up,
There you go.
big baby.
You need a new pair of pants. Here you go.
So that was Garen from Magical Butter,
That
right?
was Garen Angel's
Yeah.
Magical Butter. That was great that he
Mhm.
called in.
That's awesome.
That was cool.
So I wonder if Magical Butter can put something out where you can take your cannabis and like make real legit suppositories or make feminine products. That's something I've been calling for a while because, women have women specific issues. And when that happens, they go through a lot of pain and suffering potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for me to convey because I don't know, but I know that's something that you could benefit from because it's a great way to get medicine. Another thing that I've seen too, and I'm sorry to just, keep going on about this, but inhalers, right? People with asthma, people that struggle smoking, people that struggle with the vape when they get that popcorn lung.
Oh, big time.
Inhalers.
Yep.
So something similar to like a Buterol,
Yeah.
people that struggle with breathing. But yeah, Magical Butter is really cool. It's a really good product.
Yeah.
When you use yours, Lefty?
I love mine.
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
You make what kind of edibles do you make?
I just made some oil, some infused oil. So yeah,
like vegetable oil or like olive oil.
Olive oil.
Nice.
No, I'm sorry. Coconut oil. Coconut. I made some coconut oil.
Now, did you use flour or did you use concentrate?
Flour. I don't know how to use concentrates yet. I haven't done that yet. I need
Okay.
to Have a class on that.
Yeah,
There
it's
you go.
true. Have you ever seen the oil in the syringes, right? I know that Compassionate CSATC had them, right? And they were crazy expensive. But you can use that to make cocoa butter and coconut oil and different things like that. People have really been getting good success from it. Bath salts. Bath salts.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Oh, no. Is that Tone?
Who's there? You're on the air.
Hello?
Hello, Tony. How are you? Arlo Glass in the house with Arlo Glass.
Is that Tommy?
What's up, Tony? How are you, man?
What's up, brother? Long time no see.
It's good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, it's excellent to hear you speak, brother.
I appreciate you, Tone. I miss you.
Indeed. I love that you're in Maryland. That's excellent.
Thank you, brother. Well, you know what? The program there is just so much better than New Jersey. You know, Tiffany Myers, she's moving from New Jersey to Maryland because of the Maryland program.
Wow.
She saw a lot of my videos. She saw what was going on in the store, what's going on with Maryland, and she was like, I have to go there because it's so much better, and she needs a certain kind of medicine. So, yeah, it's awesome, man. I see you're growing out there, right?
Oh, man, is he ever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice, man.
That's
Tell me
what I
about the
came out here
plants.
for.
Yeah, he's making oil. He's making all kinds of shit.
What are your favorite strains?
Yeah, I'm
to
making
grow?
Pico. Oh, well, right now,
full extract cannabis oil.
my,
That's good.
my favorite right now on the patio is blueberry number 64. Blueberry muffin.
Woo!
Number 64.
Hey!
It's almost narcotic, though.
Psychotic?
Yeah, it's almost narcotic. It gives me a little bit of an anxiety attack for like 3 minutes, and then I fall asleep.
Nice.
Wow. Fun. Sounds like what I need.
Wow.
I need something to put me to sleep like that.
That's
Wow.
awesome, man. So you got blueberry. What other strains are you growing?
Kush. I've got a Halo. That's very bad.
Nice.
I've got
Perennial things.
Adon's, which is like a Humboldt that's named after a reggae star. It's like a blackberry.
Nice. I think traditionally Humboldt's put out some of the best cannabis in the world. You know, maybe in the top 5 of places where cannabis.
Well, yeah, we're right here between Sonoma County, Mendo, and Humboldt. It's like the capital of the world, you know.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. So how's the community out there?
Hey, I get. Oh, it's killer. We have a great time. Concerts constantly, making art. I got a fancy art studio on this fancy Illuminati art space.
That's awesome. Hey, did you hear about Gonzo Glass in Mount Holly?
I did. Yeah, I want to get.
Patrick Gone and
I want
Bobby
to send some
Everett.
glass out to you.
Oh, that would be so cool. Stock the shelves. Stock the shelves. There's
Yeah,
going to be
let
glass
me-
blowing stations.
Yeah.
When you come back to Jersey,
Send me a
to check it
private
out.
message. I'll send some pieces out. I'll donate.
Oh, that's awesome, Tony. Thank you so much. The store's just getting up and running. Pat's been
Yeah, no
working so
problem.
hard.
Hey, can you believe Garen Angel called in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice
That was
surprise.
fun.
That was great.
You know what? Did you hear the good news?
That's funny. Be more funny. Did he